Our third movie for the planning process, and this is going to talk about the actual source code that we create from pseudocode, as well as the actual output that's derived from the source code. So here's our source code. The name of this is gallons.cpp, and I'll quickly go over this. All programs start out with a comment, and this comment here tells us a little bit about what this program is going to do, calculate the miles per gallon, and the variables needed, and what its output's going to be. Then it has a pound include, which I'll get into later, and a using namespace. And then we have a main. Now your pseudocode actually starts right here. Remember the first thing you did in your pseudocode? You declared your variables, and here I declared variables. And then remember in your pseudocode when you said display how many miles did you travel? Well, I converted that display into a cout. That puts that question on the monitor. And then input a value into miles. Well, in C++, I say cin greater than miles. That's how I input a value into the variable miles. And then a display, how many gallons of gas did you use? There it is there, cout. And then an input a value into gallons. And then here's our processing. And then here's our final display where we display what our output is. So that's our source code. Now, what I wanted you to know that on the handout you got, your source code actually has line numbers. And the line numbers, the line numbers here could be, you can start your line numbers anywhere. I just started them at the top of my comments. So what's really important here is at the bottom of the source code, I listed all my variables, miles, gallons, and MPG. Now the question's going to be, I'm going to make up some sample data. At what line number did the variable miles receive my sample data of 100? Well, right here, line 14. And at what line number did the variable gallons receive my sample data? That's sample data 10. I drove 100 miles and I used 10 gallons. Well, that was line 16. Well, then based on that information, where did the program calculate MPG? Well, 100 divided by 10 became 10. Again, this is sample data that I provided, and that was line 17. So when you trace the value of variables in a program, you list the variables, and you, the programmer, you, the student, for me, you have to kind of create some sample data that you know what the correct answer is. And when you run the program, you compare your sample data to the test data that you had. You compare your sample data to the actual output generated by the program to make sure that the program logically works. If the program produces something that you didn't anticipate, then there's going to be some kind of logic error. I actually did it twice. Here's my second run. 35 down here, 35 miles and 6 gallons and 5.8 MPG. So I ran the program twice and I was looking for that kind of output. Now, also keep in mind that what we wanted to see here, well, what was our actual output? This is our actual output that was generated, and actually that's what I wanted to have generated, but really when I ran this program, that's what I got. So what the teacher does in this class, I compare your actual output to your screen drawing, and your screen drawing actually looked like this, with the exception the screen had an extra line in here, the screen drawing. When I ran this program, I didn't have that extra line. I got this. So that's one of the things that you as a programmer you have to account for. You have to make sure that your actual output matches up your screen drawing. Okay, I hope this helps.